I think the autopsy had something. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for her to say something like stabbed repeatedly or again and again, because the autopsy says one stab wound. Mr. Starr turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle and what the wick is made of and the kind of wax and everything else? I mean, add more wax and a really short wick will burn longer. She's making notes now like, oh right. Obviously more scientific test is required. Alright, so let's go object now. I treat you with crumpets. Crumpets are nice. Buttered crumpets, You actually have some? Oh, give please. Alright, so again and again, which means we can now present with this. One knife wound. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. Oh, here we go again. With my moss surprise. Ooh. Is that literally a box of moss? I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Ms. Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Whoa, Edgeworth, don't steal my thunder. Edgeworth, you just stole my objection, you dastard. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. But hey, he's my hero. Really? What about my objection? No one noticed that's what I was pointing at? Well, witness. You got the crime scene set right. How many lunches does she have in that frigging bag? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realise that such mistakes are possible. Wait, are you saying you put real blood on that rice? Wait, so you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. So what you're saying now is that what was on her coat wasn't blood, even though you used that as an objection before. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Yeah, Edgeworth's baby rage. A red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Red muffler. What red muffler? A red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck, but she doesn't in that picture. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. He's right. She does wear it round her neck. She's wearing a red scarf when she was in detention. But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? I mean, it's literally just there. Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib, that's why this place feels so much like a kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on the matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently Ms. Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony now. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Ms. Starr has turned out to be short-tempered as she looked when we first met her, so we need to really push her buttons here. Challenging her abilities as a detective sets her off. Blah 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 blah. Right. Questioning your luck on gacha games? You've got more luck than me. I haven't won once yet. Okay, so now do with this because she's not wearing it there, look. Ms. Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. Edgeworth, will you just please stop bogarting my objections? What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim, and you've proved it yourself. I'm gonna come over there and slap you, Edgeworth, if you don't stop with this shit. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Wow. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What the... I will... But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. The car? Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. She's stewing now. Like a good piece of beef. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. I quickly caught her and explained her rights to her and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her she mentioned the muffler. Oh, did she now? That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. Oh, no thanks. Bit surprised I'm faster than you do in this trial? Well, you know, I am a professional. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Wolf smart. I'm smart. SMRT. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Wait, she says she ran behind the partition and knocked over oil drums, but the oil drums are on the side of the partition where the car is. That's an inconsistency. But let's question everything first. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition to her side. Where? So where is this partition on the floor plan? Right there. I'm sure she means the wall next to the car. There's also no reason for that wall to even be there. It's blocking the way to the parking spaces. It's really stupid. There was a wall there about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her and explained her rights to her and arrested her on the spot. Spend most of the games either following a spoiler 3 walkthrough or saving all the time and trying everything. Oh, I just plow through. I just run through like a bull in a china shop, like, I'll get it right. You say quickly. Were you so close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time, with a fence between you and her. Maybe I should press her for more details? Yeah, no, press it. I'd like to see this on the floor plan just to be safe. So the lunchland car was over here. She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from about there? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there's a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. You can't, it's floor to ceiling. The whole thing. Amazing. The cough-up queen lunch lady athlete indeed. I would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Plus, the fence is about 9 feet high. Oh, it's not floor to ceiling. She could, but yeah. Unless she jumped up onto that van. How did Ms. Sky not get away then? When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. We'll do some objections after we've questioned everything. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? Oh no, I left my scarf. I remember exactly. I would have told you in the testimony. Cheeky. Yeah, cheeky bugger. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean ask further. By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. Flick. It's like a salmon, heading upstream, you see. What, getting nowhere fast? No, the court doesn't see Ms. Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. So we know she tried to call Ema, but we know Ema said that she just hung up straight away, so there was no conversation to be had, right? Mentioned the muffler. I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen closely, rookies. Ema, my muffler needs washing. It's full of blood. And she dropped it in the toilet. Ugh. The chief prosecutor was stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. She then picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. Well, she couldn't see that because the partition's there. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. And when you boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? I'm just going to keep questioning everything first. But we can use that with the floor plan and point out the partition. But we'll do that afterwards. Let's just keep questioning. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras. She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange, What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The other way? Ah. Yeah, from the phone to go back to the oil drums? Instead of the entrance? That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run out. I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. I don't. Alright, quickly caught her and explained her rights and arrested her on the spot. You mentioned the muffler. I saw it all. Right, so we're going to object to this with the floor plan. Ms. Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Ms. Lana Sky. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias, really. Well, who would have thought that you'd be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, This is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Are your lunches really that bad? Ugh. Let's look at the floor plan. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true... Oh, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. Oh. I believe you see what I'm getting at. Or rather, in this case, you don't. That emergency cell phone was on the backside of this partition. Backside. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you could allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... what would it be then? The order of events? Where she saw it or what she saw? I mean, technically all of it's wrong. The order of events might not be the lie. Let's just try what she saw. She lied about what she saw. In other words, she didn't see Ms. Sky using the emergency phone. It does seem hard to imagine she could have. Very logical. What's the matter, Star? Cat got your lunchbox. Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would Ms. Star lie like that? Huh? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? It doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? Oh, dang, she's right. I mean, maybe she really did see her try to use the emergency phone. I see no room for doubt here. You ordered the patooey on rice, right? What the hell is that? Mr. Wright, and I thought you had something there. Is a bit of bint. One more try. I see it in your eyes. You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Okay. So she did see it. Does she lie about the order of events, maybe? Or where she saw it from? She couldn't see it from there, so where she saw it from is the lie. But it could also be the order of events, because she said she saw the stabbing, took the picture immediately afterwards, and then she leapt over the fence to go arrest her, right? But she said that she saw her making the phone call, and then come back and she was on her mobile, and then she moved in for the arrest. So it must be where? Yeah, that's what I'm getting at here, Erikai. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. Let's say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Ms. Star witnessed it from a different location. A different location? I know where this is going now. She was already in the security area. She was up in the security room by this point. That photo she took could have been ages before, for all we know. Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. But you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony I've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Ms. Star witnessed the crime was here. I think she was in the security room, delivering lunch. Big brain mode activated. Yes. I'm going to do what's called a pro gamer move right now. She wasn't over here when all this happened. In fact, if she wasn't here when this happened, she couldn't have seen that, or she couldn't have taken this picture. Right? At least not at the time of the crime. She still took the picture, but she took it well before. Perhaps before Edgeworth even left. She was over here. She was in the security room. And then she ran down and arrested her from there. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed. The security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. If she was already in Block A, Lana would have already known she was there and seen her, and she wouldn't have been on the phone. She's not lying about seeing her go on the phone. She wouldn't have just casually walked over there after stabbing someone, right? So she has to be somewhere where Lana didn't know she was watching from, which is up in the security guard room. It is built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. You would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in Block A. In fact, she wouldn't have even been able to get into Block A unless her boyfriend let her in. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Ms. Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Well, okay then. Order, order, witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Something that she already hates the prosecutors for doing everything, including lying and forging evidence. The guilty, is she talking about Ms. Skye? Mr. Wright. Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Ms. Starr lie? It doesn't make sense, huh? You could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. No, it doesn't. Photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Me? Who else? Mr. Wright. Let's review what we know. So Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what could it change? It doesn't really change the distance to the crime, because she is about the same distance away whether she was in B block or in the security guard area. The angle of view definitely does change. She's looking down from above. You believe it's the distance? I don't think it does. So if you look at the security guard room to the car versus where she said she was in B block, she said she was all the way over, like, on this side where she parked. She actually parked her car down here, if I remember correctly, or that one up there. So she would have been there or there. It's about the same distance. The angle is definitely different because she's looking down from above. Won't be a difference in lighting because it's just going to be uniform lighting, right? So it's going to be the angle of the view, which would distort entirely what she thinks she saw. Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have a sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Oh, damn it. Well, that does change, though. This is the game when it tries to trip you up now. Let's review what we know. You witnessed the crime from the security guard station. She lied and said she was in B block. It makes a vital difference, but what would change? I guess maybe it is the distance then. I don't think there's a difference in lighting. Why would one of the garages be dimly lit and the other one not? Then again, the room she's in would be lit differently, right? And she's looking through glass. But the point of that security station is that they're supposed to be able to see into the garage, so it's probably not that. Brad! What's up, buddy? How's it going? Hello, Brad. Distance to the crime, then. It must be the distance. You were right, Erikai. It changes the distance between her and the crime scene. My condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plan, and it's quite clear. Distance between the scene of the crime and guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Yeah, but she's looking from above. That's you know, a bit more distance. Diagonal. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Ms. Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Ms. Skye? Well, witness, you... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Those look like rubber bands on rice. What the F is that? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. What's wrong with squid? I was bringing a PBJ lunch with fresh boysenberry? What is boysenberry jam? Is that a real thing? Boysenberry for the boyfriend. Ah. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And you literally come round the corner. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene, but the door was locked, I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking lot in Block B. That's quite a detour, to be able to get there so quickly. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? Yeah, boysenberries? What the F? It's like a raspberry and a blackberry. That's it, she's really clacking her way down that corridor. I could hear the high heels going. This changes things considerably, but it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence, which you couldn't have taken at the time. You took when you got there. I swear it, on my finest plastic spork. That is a pretty serious swear you've just done there. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. It is, it's fantastic. Here we go again with another caviar lunch. Oh, yes, please, absolutely. She's charging you for these, you know that, right, Judge? She's racking up her tab. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Raise an objection. She doesn't own a plastic spork. She's lying again. 5 minutes between the witness of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could have made pasta in the amount of time it took. If you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. Okay, good. I'm glad for you. In a 5-minute blank, isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with the 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Ding! Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. Really, Your Honor. And what makes you think you would flee the scene? But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.